Welcome back everybody to the basement. Welcome back to Chris's Trains and Things. Today's slightly different video now that we're kind of in the holiday season, or we are in the holiday season. And if you're watching this video in a couple months, we won't be, but just think back to the way you feel kind of in that December to New Year's time period right after Thanksgiving. We're going to talk about some of my favorite memories in this hobby and sort of like how I got into it in a way, but also what I'm thankful for. I think that's a really important part of this season. So we're going to hit that here today on Chris's Train. Here's the deal. As you watch this video, I want you to kind of reflect and think about someone or something that you remember, kind of a defining moment, if you will, in your hobby. And maybe you have multiple hobbies. I have multiple hobbies. I'll talk about those in a minute. But one that helped you kind of connect with the hobby, or a turning point that really made you realize this is something that I really enjoy doing and it's fulfilling for me. So, if you look in the deep archives of my channel, you'll see some of my other hobbies that I have, and I want to share some defining moments in maybe those hobbies, but some things that I'm thankful for as well that's got me to this point in my life, and this point in my life as a model train collector. So let's go ahead and jump in. Like most people, I started collecting trains when I was a young child. In fact, I have vivid memories of receiving my very first locomotive, which we'll see here. It's hanging in my office on a piece of Glenn Snyder display shelving, and it's this Lionel 462 Reading. My grandfather got this for me when I was about 4 years old or so. I remember him getting me a circle of Lionel tubular track, a transformer, and this engine. And I can remember carrying that entire circle of track up the steps, trying not to scratch the drywall to get it up into my bedroom after my birthday party, and being just super excited about having my very first engine, or my very first train, really. Before that, I was collecting just the wooden Brio sets that you'd get, and that were, even those were overpriced. And then we were moving up into O scale or O gauge at the time. I also do woodworking. I've got a video that highlights a tour of my wood shop that I have in my garage. I started doing woodworking when I was in about 7th grade. I took tech ed and fell in love with it. And ironically, my other grandfather did carpentry on the side. And so I collected some tools from him when he passed away back in the early 2000s. And from there, my passion and love for woodworking grew to the fact that I still do it today. And sometimes I'll take a break from the trains and go work on some long-term project in the wood shop. And so, like, the latest thing that I did was a reclaimed barnwood coffee bar for my wife. See some pictures here. That was all that is barnwood that was taken from a local barn here in Lancaster County. Lots of work goes into that. Lots of metal detecting and trying to find any nails or screws in that wood and pulling them out by hand before you run them through the saw. But I do find I do get a lot of fulfillment out of going from this beginning of a project to the end of a project. And I think that's probably part of why I love what I do with trains, and the layout process is getting from a beginning to an end. Now, the beginning to the end of a layout is years and decades, where when I work on something in the wood shop, if I need that fulfillment of closure right away, I can go work on a cutting board and knock that out in a weekend. Or I can do the coffee bar and finish it in about a month or two. So that's the nice thing. It's a little bit more short term with regards there to that hobby. I also have my motorcycle. I have a 2020 Ducati Monster, and I've got lots of videos of the customizations that I've done on that on this channel as well. And so that's a lot of fun. I purchased my first motorcycle when I was 22 or 23, and ever since then I've really grown to enjoy getting out and riding it and things like that. I don't ride it all that often, but it is fun to get out and ride when I can. So that's another. So those are some of my hobbies. What are some of your hobbies? What are things that you love to do? Obviously, if you're watching this channel, my guess is you like collecting trains. Maybe you don't. Maybe you're just kind of poking around and thinking about it, or you just like enjoying watching the videos. That's great too. Leave me a comment now. What's one of your hobbies or other hobbies other than collecting trains? And if this is your main hobby, then what scale? Do you do O scale, 3-rail like I do? Do you do maybe more HO? Or N scale, or maybe G? Talk to me about that. Leave that in the comment section below before we move on a little bit. So the main gist of this video is thankfulness. So being thankful for the folks that got you into your hobby or got you to where you are in life. That's something that I've reflected on a lot recently. In fact, a bunch of people that I work with, I challenged them during the month of December to reach out to 3 to 5 people that kind of got them to where they are within their career, and just thank them for what they do. Just reach out via Facebook or LinkedIn or whatever social media, or if they have their phone number still, just give them a call, shoot them a text message, thank them for whatever they did for you. Maybe it was 35 years ago, but thank them for what they've done to help get you to where you are. And so I kind of wanted to bring that into the model train community, or into my viewers and my subscribers here. Who are some people that you're thankful for that got you to where you are? Maybe it's within the hobby, maybe it's just within life or in a specific situation, and just be thankful for them. And being thankful on the inside is really important, but expressing that to them, because you never know how much that could turn someone's day around. Then it kind of starts a domino effect of positivity, right? When we thank someone for something like that big moment, or what they did for you years ago, that's going to maybe affect them to thank someone else. And then it just creates that cascading effect of thankfulness, which I think is such a positive thing that we need to start here during the holiday season. And it would be a great way to kick off 2022 also. So for me, obviously, like I mentioned, for this hobby, it would be my dad, my grandfather, my uncle. They all collected trains when they were younger, and subsequently got me into collecting trains as well. And, I actually have my dad's first set. We'll see if we got it here running. I don't know if it'll be running, but we'll have it out here on the track and some B-roll footage. So this was his first set that he had when he was a kid. I received it, cleaned it up, and gifted it back to him. He then gifted it to my son for him to just have. And so we've got it here, which is great. We've got to get it up I've got a nice display shelf that I built for it when I gifted it back to my dad when it was all cleaned up. And he returned that back to us as he's moved out of his house and into a smaller place and doesn't really have the room for it. So we'll have that displayed here. For me, I can remember going to my grandfather's house when I was really young, and in his basement was my uncle's layout. He had a pretty big, plywood planes layout, if you will, but it was all Lionel tubular track and Lionel switches. And I just remember vividly the Lionel switch controllers all up in the front, and he had a bridge in the back with a flashing beacon, red light on the back, and he had the Santa Fe war bonnets. And I can remember just being like, those things are like the gold standard of Lionel trains, is those Santa Fe war bonnets. And I remember going down there when my uncle was around. He'd come over and he'd run the trains, and it was just like the coolest thing ever, just off that ZW transformer. It was just something I always wanted to emulate. And so just those moments of them taking the time to run the trains for me when I was there, talk to me about it, gifting me a piece of rolling stock at my birthday and at Christmas and so on, is just something that I can't be more thankful for, because it just helped guide me. And at this point in my life, I kind of fell out of the hobby in high school and college, and then came back into it in the last few years, is someone to talk to about it. They come over and they're excited to see my layout. And so I'm thankful for that, for their enthusiasm to come see this and see the work that I've put into this. So those are 3 people that I'm really thankful for. I'm also really thankful for my wife, who's extremely supportive of this. I think if we asked her, she'd say she probably doesn't get it, but she understands that it's something that brings me joy. It's therapeutic for me. I've mentioned that to a lot of people that ask me why I'm into model trains. And I love collecting model trains, but the scenery work, the time that I spend working on the layout to create realistic scenes, that's what's therapeutic for me. It's a time for me to just come down and unplug and close my eyes and create a vision of something, and then try to turn that vision into reality, even though it's in 1/48th scale. So I can really appreciate, and I thank my wife for her patience and time that she allows me to come down here and just kind of unplug. And I know that that's time away from the family, so I've been doing my best to balance that in a better way. But I thank her for her patience. And so I've mentioned a lot of those people here on the video. I'll be making sure that I reach out to them in person and thanking them for these pieces as well. So my challenge to you, over the next couple of weeks, maybe the next couple of days, can you try to connect with some people that you are thankful for? Hopefully by now you've left a comment down below of some of your other hobbies. If you have other hobbies outside of model trains, if it's just model trains, put that in the comments. Who are you thankful for, though? Hold yourself accountable. Maybe we can hold you accountable. So if you can put a name or a reference to the people that you're thankful for, maybe just one person in the comments below. I will do my best to respond back to you in the comments. I do try to do that and connect back with all of you. That's the best part about the comment section. It's how we can interact. A lot of this is one way. The comments allow you to feed back to me, and then I can connect with you. So who are those people that you're thankful for? And how are you going to show your thankfulness? And if that person's not around anymore, then who's someone else that's there that you can thank? That was a challenge that I had, like I said, for the folks that I work with. If the person that mentored you 35 years ago has passed away, do they have a spouse that you can connect with that you can thank? Because as that person was giving you time, they were taking time away from their spouse and their family. So who else, is there someone else there that you can thank in kind of a secondhand way that helped get you into this? So I appreciate everybody getting this far in this video. I know it's kind of a different video to end the year, but it's an important one also. So I thought I wanted to get this out and interact with you. So leave those comments and I'll respond back. And I hope that we can start off 2022 with just this really just strong push of positivity and grace as we move into 2022. I've got a lot of great things coming out that I'm hoping I'll be able to film and include all of you on. A lot of great meetups hopefully planned with some folks, and I hope that as we move through 2022, we're in a place in this pandemic that I'm able to meet with more people, be it at York shows or other meets and things like that, where we can stay safe and healthy and just connect, because it's so important. So thank you to everyone that's reached out to me, be it on Instagram or through just YouTube. I've got an email in my description. You can reach out to me that way. I did jump on Facebook there for a little while, and Facebook has suspended my account. I don't think they think I am who I am. Even though I've got like 30 people that have friend requested me at this point in time. So I don't know what's going on there, if I'll continue with the Facebook or just scrap that. It's just one more added piece to the puzzle here. So anyway, thanks for tuning in. Thanks for getting this far. Thank you. You're another person that I'm thankful for that I can't forget to mention in this video. I wouldn't be here doing this without all of you watching and commenting and liking the videos and being part of the Chris's Trains and Things community, because that's what we are. So thank you so much. Have a great day. Thank you. Let's have a great kickoff to 2020.